I'm part of a family business insurance agency, working there for about 13 years. We have 9 employees right now. Revenue's getting close to about $1 million per year. And a business is continuing to grow rapidly, a lot quicker than we ever thought it would. And the conversation of succession planning has come up. But I was wondering your advice of trying to take out this business or take over this business without taking on any debt. My conversation with my father, who owns the business around it, has been a bit muddy and confusing about it. And I just don't really know how to, move forward with this.
What does muddy and confusing mean? He's not willing to talk about the terms, or not willing to talk about the price, or what's all that mean?
Yeah, he's talked about the price of being somewhere between $2 and $3 million, like 2 to 3 times total revenue. But when he's talked about, he's like, I have it all written down. I'm not ready to go over it with you yet. But when the time comes, we'll talk about it. Stuff like that.
How old is he?
A little bit unsure. He's 55.
5'5".
So, yep, 5'5".
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I know insurance companies like yourself are multiples of gross, and I don't know if 3 is the right one. That sounds awfully high to me.
It's a bit high. I mean, we're the type of franchise that we have, because we're doing other acquisitions, we're between 1 and 1.5 when we're buying other people. And a lot of the value of the agency is the team, and me included on there too, which kind of muddies it a little bit.
No, the team doesn't have any value unless they create profit.
Sure.
Profit, a multiple of profit is the only thing that 100% of the time has value. And the only time you'd use a multiple of gross revenues is if it's an indicator of profit.
Sure.
But you don't buy teams unless they're creating profit. I mean, let's say you were losing $1 million a year. Who gives a crap about the team?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so well, my guess is your dad's probably going to work another 10 years.
Yeah, he's already been winding down a little bit, and I think that's the plan. Is he's got another about 10 years or so into this. But in the next 10 years too, we're hoping to double or even triple the size of the business. Mm-hmm. And that's the trajectory that we're continue to go on.
And is that going to raise the price even further that you have to pay him?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So you're helping him build a business as he winds down, and that costs you.
Yeah, correct. It's kind of like I'm digging my own grave. It feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I've resoluted in my mind that because I'm mostly straight commission, and I've been straight commission for about 10 years. And that's fine because I get paid what I'm worth, but I've just had to come to a resolve that I'm just an employee because it just kind of works me up just a little bit. So I'm just an employee at this point. And then if there comes down a future to buy it out or figure it out, I guess we'll have to figure it out at that point. But he talks to me like, hey, you're a partner in this business, stuff like that. But I'm not really compensated. I feel like I was a partner because I'm just getting paid what I kill and drag over here. So, So that's maybe part of my confusion and frustration with it. And I don't want to act ungrateful.
There are 4 principles that we find that are in place in successful succession plans. One principle is that it's gradual. You all are violating that. And so you need to talk to him and say, we need to put in place, even if it's a 10-year plan and it's gradual, we need to develop a plan that you and I are both in agreement with, because the team not knowing what's going to happen at the end, and me not knowing what's going to happen at the end, and the customers not knowing what's going to happen at the end is not cool, Dad.
Okay.
It's going to harm the business not having the plan. The second principle of successful succession plans, number 1 is gradual. Number 2 is extreme levels of communication. and you all are violating that. You have feelings about being asked to act like a partner, and yet you're being treated like an employee. That you have negative feelings about that. You need to communicate that. Dad, you can say partner all you want to say, but right now I'm an employee. And you need to say that outside of your head, in your mouth, okay? And then he needs to, and then, Dad, when you don't communicate to me what the plan is, you've got it all written down, but you're not ready to go over it yet, I'm calling BS on that, okay? So you need to communicate that to me, because the most successful plans are communicated. And then I can see if it's something I want to do. I might not want to do it. So we need to start to talk about that. And I'm not trying to run you off. I'm just trying to figure out what this plan looks like 5, 10, 15 years out. And then we need to start, once that is in place and you and I are in agreement, we need to start communicating that to the customers and to the employees, because you're going to lose your star employees if they think the old man's going to hold on to the keys until he lands in the grave. They're not going to hang around to watch that, because everyone knows that doesn't go well.
No.
So you're violating those two things, and I got to tell you, there's no sin on your dad's part in violating those. He's 55. I would say 90% of the small businesses violate those. But also, succession plans are very difficult for that reason. If you want a successful succession plan, that is two of the elements: extreme levels of fanatical communication and gradual movement on the plan. I'm 64. We started working on ours when I was 48. So we're 16 years into our succession plan, and I'm still here. That's gradual, okay? And we've talked about it so much, we're all sick of it. Everybody's tired of hearing it, by God, you know? But it's, at least everybody knows what's going on. There's no confusion. It's very stinking clear. And the frustration comes with confusion is unbelievable. And let me tell you, your customers, and you could pass this on to your dad, your customers and your team, when they don't know what's going on, they write a story in their head that's much more negative than reality actually is. When people don't know about something, they always write a more negative story than it really is. That's true about anything in business, but it's definitely true about a succession plan. Last thing is this, and I think your dad's a standard dude. I don't think he's doing anything really substantially wrong. I'm just telling you how to take it from a, you know, he's about a 5 or a 6 out of 10. He's at least recognized that there needs to be a plan. That's more than some do. So, but I'm just trying to get him from a 5 or a 6 up to a 10. The last thing I'll say about that is this, in his defense: the most difficult of the different generational handoffs is the first gen to the second gen, emotionally. Now, the most difficult tactically is like, you know, Gen 4 to Gen 5. You get all these different players involved, okay? But the founder, the guy that your dad, when you were in diapers, is out there scratching and clawing and hustling and grinding and stepping and fetching.
Absolutely, he was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so that guy that can do that, it's hard for him to let go. He's the founder. The founders are hardheads. I'm a founder. I'm a hardhead. And so I'm always right, even when I'm not right.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, and that's the guy who could do stuff from the ground up, right? They can eat dirt if they have to, you know, and spit out dollars. I mean, you can go, you get her done, man. And so I will tip my hat to him and say, as a founder, this is an emotionally difficult thing, but it is a requirement if you love the people you work with and you love your son to make this not about you, dude. You got to get more noble and start to talk about gradually handing this off with lots of really, really, really clear communication. And that's the direction I would go with this. Then I'll give you one more thing, and I didn't even intend to do this until you spoke up, but you made me think of this because you did a good job with it. A way you can help the founder turn loose is always paying them honor.
Yeah.
You know, always speak highly of your dad to him. Talk about how you admire what he has done to get it where it is in front of him, and pay honor to the founder, it helps them to deal with the emotions of turning loose of something that they formed with their own hands and the calluses on their fingers. So you're a good man, Wesley. Your dad's a good guy, but y'all got to work on this or it's going to screw both of you up. So you got to step into the discomfort and the awkwardness of this for the good of what's going on. That's definitely the way to go.